Great news. All your favorite comedy podcasts can be enjoyed ad-free on Amazon Music.
Listen to your favorite music, plus top podcasts completely ad-free on Amazon Music, included with your Prime membership.
Dive into a world of laughs by downloading the Amazon Music app for free, or go to amazon.com/ad-free-comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free-comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Listening can lead to positive change in your mood, your habits, and ultimately your overall well-being. And with the Audible app, there's more to imagine when you listen.
Audible has the best selection of audiobooks all in one easy app. Enjoy Audible anytime while doing other things. Household chores, exercising, on the road, commuting, you name it.
One of my favorite titles that I'm currently listening to is something that I've had in my life for a long time, and that's the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. It's narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds, and it's just so fantastic. I can picture everything he's saying as he says it, and all the characters come to life. It's my favorite thing.
And as an Audible member, you choose one title a month to keep for their entire catalog.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
Ready to get in touch with your moody side? It's time to check out Crocs' new daring shades, comfy styles, and edgy gibbets charms.
Think classic black and dark purple hues, gemstone charms, and neutrals you can accent with your favorite personalization.
I actually got some really cool white Crocs, which go really well with my summer outfits. You know, if you're going to brunch, you're wearing like a cool light colored outfit, some nice white Crocs, it just looks really good.
And they're so versatile. I love wearing them around the house, and I wear them out too. They're just the easiest thing I have, and definitely the most comfortable.
Oh my God, so comfortable. Plus, all their clogs and sandals are made with the iconic comfort we all love to keep us comfortable all day, no matter where it takes us.
Find your moody side when you head over to shop at crocs.com.
There's so much that crappens. Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today, Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing so well. We're here today to talk Below Deck Med, the latest craziness there. A lot of other stuff is happening around our world. First and foremost, we cannot urge you enough to go listen to our recap of the Jersey reunion. We're not talking about the watch special that they did. We're talking about the actual Jersey reunion, which was allegedly not happening, but it turns out it did happen, and we have the audio for it. So go listen on our podcast feed for our leaked Jersey reunion audio. So go check that out. Also, thanks for everyone who came to Crappy Hour last night. That was so much fun. We had a great time with you all. And a little personal plug, go check out Virtual Reality Podcast. It's the Page 6 podcast. I got to go on it with Danny Murphy and Evan Reel, and we talked about all sorts of Bravo stuff. So go check that out on Page 6. And I think, was there anything else from my friend Tom? Wait, here's one. Sorry, this is a full-on shill. My friend Tom just wrote his very first book, and it came out today. So everyone go buy the Kindle version on Amazon and help him get to the top of the charts for his very first book. A little shout out to my friend Tom Donnelly.
What's the book?
Oh, yeah, I guess I should. The book is called Year of the Rabbit. Just buy a book. Everyone, just buy a book out there.
That's my year, actually. So maybe I will check it out. Maybe
yeah, go check it out, everyone.
Person named Ronnie.
Yeah.
Sexy beast named Ronnie.
We love rabbits.
Got a pimple on his cheek.
No.
For no reason. Actually, you know what? It was not for no reason. It's because I'm obsessed with ice cream. I'm like a heroin addict with ice cream. Do you know how many ice cream places there are around here? They're so good. Van Leeuwen's, Salt and Straw, shit, Baskin Robbins right down the street. There's a new gelato called Fredo's. There's so much shit happening around here, ice cream wise, and their packaging is all really good too. Like I think it's Van Leeuwen's, and what's the other one that's similar to that? McConnell's. A lot of them, they have packaging that's like, "You're dead soon. Eat, stupid," or like, life is too short to worry about calories. It's like they're very like girl power packaging, but then they have that wording on them. I mean, that's like a deadly mixture for me. I'm like, oh my God, girl power and calories. Oh! And it's killing me.
You gotta check out Jenny's Splendid ice cream. It's really good. Jenny's Splendid.
Yeah, then you told me of that, Jenny's Splendid. So you know what? I'm just on a journey. I'm on the Fat Elvis journey. Can't wait. I even practiced that song on the piano today. Just if I, have a poop on the toilet, or if I die pooping on the toilet from all this ice cream, I want it to be to my own recording of Wise Men Say. Okay, let's get into it. Below Deck Mediterranean from Cloud 9 to Flight 9. That's what the episode is called. Pretty controversial episode. These guests suck.
What was the controversy?
That new. Did the guests suck? Hello. Knife controversy? I don't know.
The guests suck. And I looked up the primary. She has a TV show on OWN, or at least she had one on OWN. I was like, oh, okay. So you have a basic cable show, and so now you think that your one-day charter, you suddenly are like Leona Helmsley.
On OWN network. I'm trying to see.
I don't know why Leona Helmsley was like the first rich lady I could think of. Maybe Belinda Gates would have been a better reference, but I forget what the name of the show is, but I saw it on her Instagram bio.
Oh, I looked up the other one. I looked up the butter knife lady.
Oh God,
what a fucking idiot that one is. Oh, and do you know that she has a manners class, like a manners course. She teaches
butter
etiquette.
Knife? Butter knife lady.
Yeah, and she was trying to be funny in her Insta. She's like, her bio says something like learning about knives on Below Deck, or something like that. She's trying to be funny, but you were an absolute piece of shit on that show, lady. You deserve every amount of crap that you're inevitably getting on the internet right now. And the fact that you're trying to go on there and promote yourself as an etiquette course, dead.
No,
couldn't have happened.
That woman was trash. That butter knife woman was such trash, because we've all seen her at bars and at restaurants. We've all gone out to dinner and someone brings someone like that, and you're like, oh my God, I'm mortified. Like she says something really obnoxious, and then she gets clocked back by the staff, and then she gets all pissy when it was her who was being obnoxious in the first place.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to that. Let's start at the beginning of the episode, shall we? So, clean. It's 4 hours before charter. Aisha's having Bree clean, and Ellie's like, Jono, we are elevating today. Here we go. And Ian's going to set up some basketball because there's an NBA player. So, he's going to shoot some hoops like every pro NBA player does. They want to come on, shoot some hoops on a 4 foot tall basket.
I know, like a Fisher Price basketball hoop. And so then Aisha checks in on Bree, like, is the laundry all good? Are you in a good spot? Oh dear, you're ironing the ceiling. Wow, I'm very impressed.
And then Joe is talking to Gail and Ian, and they're talking about provisions, and they don't know when they're coming. We're going to get a call when they're coming in, everybody.
And Ian is hoping, he's like, well, for the first few charters, we've had one or two little hiccups, and I'm just hoping that we can have a smooth one, period, this time. So you're just going to dig deep and just, for the love of the game, man, do it for the love of the game. I'm like, it's not been just like a few hiccups. It's been all season long. Like, we are on episode 11 now, and it's been nonstop problems from you, sir.
So Bree's like, Isha, I'm down in the laundry. Oh, Ellie, do you want to see if Bree needs help taking anything from laundry? Not clothes, only rags, please. They're still doing this test. They're doing this test of like, Ellie can't go into the laundry. Dun, dun, dun. Except for rags.
Yeah, Ellie's allowed to do rags, and that's it. She's like, but now I am only doing rags and towels. Things are not going to change because of this entire time. It has been Bree fucking up, so I'm expecting things to continue being the same as they were, the way they have been all this time.
Spoiler alert.
It works out, actually.
Yeah. So then the provisioner is texting about provisions being at the dock, so now we got to go get them. So Ian's like, Gail, I want you to go. Let's let Gail drive there and then just radio us when you're on your way back. Now, as you'll see, there's the boat right there for you to get into. There's the tender. It's actually a jar of peanut butter. My oh, my bad. My bad.
So Gail gets in the tender and she tells us, one of my biggest insecurities is that I don't have enough tender experience, and that scares the shit out of me. I'm like, my insecurity is my posture, being shirtless in public, just generally sometimes being confrontational with people. But you know what? Like, if your insecurity is riding a tender, that's great too. We each have our own demons.
Not all of us are lucky enough to have hair on our back. Some of us have to go looking for insecurities.
It's like my biggest, you know what my biggest insecurity is? I don't have enough experience driving tenders. I have spoken to my therapist so much
about this. If I was in heaven, would I choose knock knees, love handles, or tender experience? Definitely keep it the same. Much easier being chubby and knock-kneed.
So she's like, it just scares the shit out of me because when I apply for new boats, deckhands have to drive the tender. And then she docks it and she's like, oh my God, I docked the tender. I actually moved this small boat from one place to another. I can't believe it happened. I'm the biggest geek when I progress. Life's like all about the little wins. So when I have a little win like that, it's like, yeah, go me, go me. I love pretty people privilege. I love pretty people who, like, their only insecurity is, can I drive a small boat that's easily drivable? I can. Okay, well, I have one less insecurity in life.
Hot people with no insecurities just celebrating little wins. That's what I love to see. I love to think that I'm standing there on dock like, God, my thighs won't stop rubbing together. I need to get longer underwear. And then you just see this hot model passing by going, hello, radio motor, y'all mistake. Motor, y'all mistake. This is Gail. Just doing my own majestic music. I like to celebrate the little wins. But I've got provisions and we're on the way back to the boat and I am driving them up.
Hello, this is Gail. I'm here to celebrate a little win that I had. I was really concerned because I was always so insecure that I never tried double mint gum. And then I tried it. It's a big win for me now. I can say I've had it. Insecurity gone.
That was a very small win. You're like,
I'm just so insecure that there won't be a good final note.
You know what I'm insecure about? Math horn noises. So Sandy sees her and she's like, oh my God, look who's driving the boat. I couldn't be prouder. I'm driving the boat. I know, I see ya. Gosh, let's celebrate her little win. Everybody line up with medals.
The Olympics may be over, but the Sandy picks are still going on, going strong. And you get both you get gold, silver, and bronze. Oh wait, hold on one second. Oh, unfortunately, actually, Romania get the bronze in tender driving, but you get gold and silver.
We had to take the bronze. We forgot to handicap your difficulty level. Okay, it's much more difficult for you because you are hot and have crippling insecurities. So. So then Aisha, speaking of little wins, she's like, oh, I thought I was going to have to blow up all the balloons, but other people blew them up. Do you know how amazing it is? The guests want to do a fire and ice party and the balloons have been blown up from it. Aisha, please stop making horn noises with your mouth. Well, Gail gets to do it. She's a model. Okay, just back down. Get with your crazy balloons. Just back away.
We only celebrate hot people doing little things, okay? We're just happy. We're just happy when they don't fully just sit on their laurels. Hey, Olympic reference.
Wait, are you saying that I'm not hot enough to have a win? No, I'm not saying you're not hot. I'm just saying you've got real insecurities. This poor girl's only scared about tender driving, and she did it. Okay?
Tomorrow I'm going to challenge her to open up a lollipop wrapper. So
I didn't notice that this was a fire and ice party. I
Maybe
love it.
because there
It's
was
because
no
you're
fire and
literally
no ice.
I know, but you're also like praying for the dragons to show up and just eat these fucking people.
That would be
Like your
wonderful.
chorus their asses.
Yeah, truly. So
A song of
everyone's
fire and ice. All right, here it is. So the crew is changing into their whites. The guests are coming in 15 minutes.
and Brie has put on her shirt and she's putting on her epaulets after she put on her shirt, which I guess is much more difficult. And Aisha's like, why don't you put them on before putting your shirt on? You're making your life so much more difficult for yourself. And Brie's like,
I have a difficulty of 4.7 with my shirt. I'm celebrating the little wins.
oh, but you put the epaulette on your nose.
You don't get horn music for that one, Brie.
Damn it. Please.
So then the guests are pissed. They do not like the tender. They're like, gross.
Yeah.
What is this, a fishing boat? And Ian's there, so he's like, welcome, the big boat is anchored because the wind is picking up. They're like, ew, fishing boat, that is a bad tender. And I can't, so far I'm like, okay, well, they're not wrong. It is kind of a gross tender, but they don't look great, but they don't look terrible at this point. And now the champagne is getting ready, and then one of the guests starts waving from the tender and goes, I hope they have mother of pearl spoons. And that's when I knew it was a trash barge floating towards this boat. Absolute garbage. Listen, people who really love their their fish eggs and all that don't need to beg for a mother of pearl spoon. It's pretty standard. And I knew these are a bunch of fakers on their way.
They just wanted to announce that they have had caviar before and that they know that mother of pearl spoons are, like, as you said, the standard. So they're like, we know these are a bunch of people who are trying to act like they are so wealthy, and yet they can only afford one night on this boat. They can't even do a 3-night charter.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I started off being kind of embarrassed for them. But, then I was like, but maybe it's going to be great for them because, they're going to get their dream of like coming to get to take selfies on a boat that they'll be sharing for the next 30 years. Because, they're like those people who just invested all of their self-worth into their wedding. And you're going to have to see those wedding pictures every day for the next 20 years. We've all got that friend who's like, God, this reminds me of 7 years and 3 days ago when I first thought about getting married to this gorgeous creature. Now look at me. Look at me in my wedding dress. It's like, babe, let it go. Please just let it go.
It's like the people who post up photos of their wedding photos any time they can on Instagram. And they're like, wow, now that the Olympic Games are over, it makes me realize that the true champion here, it's my husband. If it weren't for him, I don't know where I'd be. So I would give you all the medals in the world, babe. Thanks for being there for me.
Oh my God, there was an earthquake. And it reminded me that I married the strongest, firmest, steadiest man of all time. And here's a picture of me in my wedding dress.
I know. So now the guests are coming in and they're hauling up the anchor and everything. And one of the guests wants to take a photo. Her name is Mahisha. She's the primary. And Aisha's like, well, why don't you go to the sun deck? But if you want to go be in the sun, it's nice. There's some couches over there. And she's like, oh, well, the couches, they're an eyesore. So that doesn't work. We can't take our photos out there. Lady, crop, take different angles or whatever. Or just like they're sofas, And
also, is it the same lady who had to have a martini as her welcome drink? She couldn't just have a glass of champagne with everybody. She had to request a martini right away. It's like, oh God, it's so embarrassing.
Ridiculous.
You're so embarrassing. So they have a problem with these couches. Now, do these couches look like a hemorrhoid? Yes, they do. But it's yacht style. Like it's like designed for Robert Goulet to, spend eternity on. R.I.P. Robert Goulet. I should say Mr. Goulet. But this is like a Robert Goulet type thing. It's not supposed to look good, in other words, but they're like, please have those removed. Okay, we'll just throw those overboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she literally says, make the couches go away. Now, it would be one thing if they're like, I'm so sorry, can I make a ridiculous request? Could you just like move the sofa out of the way for just like 1 second when I could take my photo? Like that shows like, yes, I realize I'm being ridiculous, but to just say, oh, yeah, make the couches go away. It's just so obnoxious. And these people are all about selfies and getting photos at the right place, which means in my mind that they're really just trying to advance a narrative on social media that they are living the most fabulous luxe lifestyle there is out there. When again, they can only afford one night on an already discounted yacht cruise. So let's be honest.
And then we see the picture that they take after the couches are moved, and it's like the most basic. They're standing by a railing, and you see blue behind them. They could have taken that anywhere. Idiots.
Yeah. So they move the sofas and everything. And then Mahisha is sitting. This is I think the worst thing. Mahisha is sitting at the bar and her martini is at the coffee table like a foot away. And she goes, can you get my martini? I just like really legit need to wake up, darling. Want to bring it to me? And she's like, oh, which one? She's like, it's over there. It's over there. So she knew. I thought she was going to be like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was right over there. I'm so embarrassed. But she knew the martini was a foot away.
Feet away. And they just like, this one? You want this one that's an arm's length away from you? Is that the one you want? She's like, yeah, that one right there. She's like, all right, well, I'm more than happy to go and grab your very, very close drink.
It's like so deeply obnoxious. Also, who drinks a martini to wake up? I don't think it was an espresso martini. I think it was just a martini. Doesn't really work that way.
It's kind of sad because she's trying to put one narrative out there, like, look at me, I'm so rich and I drink martinis to wake up. But you just look like a poor alcoholic struggling, to get us to get a selfie to prove otherwise. It's a sad moment. It's a sad moment.
It really is. And Aisha's like, I'm more than happy to go grab your very, very, very close drink for you. Just ask me politely. So she brings it to them.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Everyone deserves to have a weight loss plan that is tailored to their specific needs. So if you're struggling with losing weight and need some extra help, it's time you check out Hims and Hers.
Hims and Hers is changing healthcare by providing access to GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, as well as oral medication kit. Plus, your personalized treatment ships for free directly to your door.
So you've been struggling with your weight loss journey. It's time you find an option that works for you with Hims and Hers.
Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/crappens.
That's forhers.com/crappens for your personalized weight loss treatment options.
forhers.com/crappens.
Not available everywhere, Hers weight loss includes compound products which are not approved nor verified for safety or effectiveness by FDA.
Prescription products require a provider consultation. Restrictions apply. Actual price to customer will depend on product and subscription plan purchase.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
And now they all play on water toys and they have fun, etc. And then they're asking for drinks, and like someone asks for a vodka soda, and so Ellie brings the vodka soda, and then Mahisha's like, where's mine? I thought you came with a surprise. It's like, bitch, you didn't order one.
She goes, well, I would love to make one for you too. Let me go do it for you too.
So then, meanwhile, Aisha is checking on Bree in the laundry, and it's the most modern way to check on somebody ever, to check on an employee. She's like, hi there, just doing a mental health check. How we feeling? Anything triggered us today in laundry? Really? How we feeling about our childhoods? Can we continue working? Do we need any naps or hugs or snacks? Right.
I've been washing these forks for 10 hours, but they are still not dry yet. Oh, please take the flatware out of the dryer. That's not the right place for them, Bree. It's okay. You're learning. Small victories.
She's like, are you doing okay? And Bree goes,
80%. 80%.
Okay, well, I'm just going to sing the Olympic theme song for you until you get there. Do, 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 do.
So now the guests are ordering drinks and ordering more drinks and ordering more drinks and ordering more drinks. And meanwhile, Joe is radioing Ellie, and he's like, "How are you getting along with those drinks there?" And she's like, "Oh, the drinks are going to be there in 1 minute. Do not worry about my drinks, you sexy man. Stop flirting with me. Oh, I can't do anything without this man flirting constantly. They need their drinks. Oh my God, yes, I will marry you. Maybe, possibly. Ask me nice."
Well, the guests are coming up, I think.
Oh, well, the judgment order before them. I'm sorry.
Gentlemen, the men, the judgment
I
order.
was like, what? The judgment.
The men ordered. There was some judgment and it ordered.
Somebody named Ronnie has knock knees and they're disgusting. Order the martini, so I'll be right back.
He's like, I understand. They were just asking me. So then, so there's just more people just being obnoxious and everything. And then now it's going to be Tom. We're starting to head in to our caviar dinner. So Bree is, Bree is down in the kitchen trying to help out Jono, and he's like asking for like some plates because he's gonna be doing a sea bass and a tomahawk tonight. So everything's sort of just getting ready for the evening activities.
And Jono's like, the primary wants flashy food. Really high value protein, cooking for Queen Mahisha, darling. Pussy popping.
And of course, these are the sort of guests that are like, okay, we're on a yacht. I demand caviar, lobster, Wagyu beef. They want all like the on the nose expensive foods.
I can't believe they didn't ask for gold leaf on something.
I know.
That's
like that lady.
One thing that all the fake players try to do on this show.
Yeah, I'll never forget that lady who asked for a steak and gold leaf. It was ridiculous. And they did it so badly too.
Or when John just like boiled a pear and then wrapped half of it in like one square of gold leaf with no.
Or that too.
Okay, so then the guests are like, oh, okay, so now the caviar tasting begins. So we see his plating. It is kind of oddly plated because he spoons the caviar for them onto bellinis, which I don't think that's how you do. I've never
You're not
had
supposed
it like
to do
that.
You're not supposed to do
I've
that.
never had it served where
but
it's
also,
like portioned out for me and all of that. Normally, I get to do that.
But also these people pretending like they are super fancy and do this all the time. They're like, oh, look, we have bellinis. Like, you do not have a brunch cocktail. You have bellinis. You've never done this before in your life.
Yeah.
It's like they're acting like they've been there before and like they don't even know the name for the little pancakes. And I wouldn't even normally be like, you don't know the name of bellinis? But it's just more like...
It's a blini, right?
Blini, Blinis. But they asked...
But they're saying
they said, they were saying, oh, good, there's bellinis here. And it's just showing their ignorance about, like, they're being obnoxious and they don't even know what they're being obnoxious over.
Yeah, I hear ya. So she's like, so do you know anything about caviar, Aisha? And she's like, well, I can have the chef come up. Jono, you able to come up to the bar to talk about the caviar? And meanwhile, Ellie can't find a dress. And she's like, where the fuck is my evening dress? Brie, Ellie, Brie, Ellie. Yes, it is me. Please, stop torturing me.
I cannot do this. I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do this.
She's like, I am calling because I don't know where my dress is. And she's like, oh, no. Oh, hold on. I cannot make laundry mistakes this charter. But I'm pretty sure it happened before Aisha implemented new rules, so it doesn't count. Ha! So she finds the dress in her purse. What is it doing in her purse? Or is it in her bag?
She said it was in her bag, but I don't know what that means. Is it her laundry bag? I don't know. Like, she's a total disaster.
I think it was just her bag.
And Ellie is like,
please say it wasn't in her purse. It's like lipstick, chapstick. Oh, Ellie dress. Stupid.
Ellie's like,
My evening dress is not being washed. Shocker! We've been treating Brie like a baby deer. And if I bring this dress up and get Brie fired because of it, I would be like, I shot Bambi, okay? And like in home country, I would be national hero. But on boat, no. So it doesn't work in my favor whatsoever.
And that is so true because everyone's like, poor Brie, she just doesn't know. It's like everyone sees Brie fucking up, but they're just like, but poor thing, look at her. She's like,
Oh, it hurts my feelings so much the way I messed up the laundry.
I know. Yeah, and like Ellie's. I mean, I want for people saying that Ellie's a villain. Look, she could have literally had Brie fired right then and there, but she's just like, no, I'm just gonna bite my tongue because I know I'll be the one that looks like an asshole. So I don't want to look like an asshole. I'll just deal with my dirty ass dress that I'm gonna wear while I serve these guests.
so back to the guests. Mahisha's like, beluga, as we understand it, which we do quite a bit, right, ladies? Beluga is top tier, and it tastes a little bit like a washcloth. That's what top tier tastes like.
I know. What did she? What
Have
was
you
she
ever
expecting?
tasted caviar? It tastes like dishwater. Okay. Now I'm guessing this is probably because he didn't serve it ice cold, and it was probably sitting on a Bellini. Because I'm
That's
joking.
right.
It shouldn't actually taste like a washcloth. But to people who are not very well versed in caviar, like me, I mean, I've worked in fine dining, so I've had it plenty. But to people without like a rich person palate, I guess I should say, it does kind of taste like a dirty washcloth.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just life, you know.
Yeah, and so Jono's like, "Oh, that's no bueno." Like, to be honest, this is like what was available. It's like kind of hard to source things here. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not like you're in some remote island in the Caribbean. I mean, you're in Athens. I think you can find caviar.
And you're working with provisioners who provision super yachts.
Like at Mykonos.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
find, and also
find
that's just not
caviar.
the answer you give. Like, I'm so sorry, but the only thing we could find for you is crap. No,
Yeah,
you don't say
don't
that.
say
You
that.
just
Just say, oh.
my God, normally this is a very delicious caviar. I'll be sure to remedy it with our next version
Exactly.
of, what we send you. Like, who says that? It's like when someone said, what is this? And he's like, some grandma on the internet made it. Like,
I know.
God,
His customer
girl.
service is not great. So she's like, I got it.
Listen,
We'll just continue that brand.
Just lie. You've got to sell it. This is always running for office. I was watching one of the politicians. I think it's the new vice president nominee, whatever his name is. No offense. Sorry. Probably will vote for them because, I'm me. But I don't really know. I don't follow that stuff enough. But anyway, I was like, oh, I wonder what he talks like. And so I pressed play on the video, or I turned to press the volume on the video to listen. And he's like, Trump doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what it's like because he's never been poor and he's never had it where you sit around the kitchen table and you have the tough talks about how to pay the electricity bill. Hey, where are the kitchen table talks? Where are those? Where are the talks around the kitchen table? And I was like, oh God, that's a thing now, the kitchen table talk. Hey, have you ever had a kitchen table talk? You can't run this country. And I was like, oh, they're really branding the kitchen table talk. But you know what? The man knows how to sell it. You have to sell it like a politician. You got to be like, oh, yeah, I'll tell you what this caviar's done. This caviar sat around the table and talked about a phone bill. You are lucky to have it in your mouth. They'd be like, oh my God, this caviar totally gets me. You just got to present it right.
I never thought that we would link this caviar to the VP candidate, but here we are.
Sorry, I
it's
don't
amazing.
know why that happened. But I have been watching around. I told my sister the other day, she's because she was in town visiting, and she's like, it's just so expensive here. Everything costs so much money. And I was like, do we need to sit down and have a kitchen table talk? And she's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you don't know the kitchen table talk? Like, you're really out of touch. So get with that.
Big Tim Walz influence. So now we go
There he
over
is.
to
Tim Walz. Tim Walls up.
Walls up. My walls are up. My walls are up. Okay, this is not an endorsement. Not an endorsement, but my walls are up.
Bethany. Bethany's like
Everyone, I know you're waiting for my endorsement, but it's not here.
by the way, new trailer for New York drops today. FYI, speaking of New York. Anywho, so now it's time to have dinner, and so they're being served seared sea bass and crab couscous.
But we have to do
Couscous.
Jono's line just because Jono was so funny. He
Oh,
goes,
sorry.
I can't do anything about the fact that your caviar tastes like a washcloth. I didn't shit out those eggs. Some fish did it. He's like, blame the fish. Now can I get back to making your fucking dinner?
Yes. Also, technically the fish doesn't shit out the eggs, but that's okay. But yeah, I love that.
I mean,
Like
Jono,
Fish did it.
we can't really stand behind him as like one of the greatest chefs of all times, but he is pretty funny.
He has grown on me so much. Like he is so funny and he's like really adorable. His food is kind of questionable. Like they serve up the sea bass and crab couscous, and the crab couscous it was just like brown and sad looking, But they all liked it and everything, and they're all talking about how the fish is buttery and soft and flaky and all that wonderful stuff. And meanwhile, Joe is talking about like how he messed things up with Ellie with his song the last episode, and he's saying that they're now on good terms, so maybe there's like a chance to reignite the flame, no strings attached. And Ellie's like,
Oh yes, I've moved on from what's happened, and we can proceed now with our little flirtation. And by little flirtation, it is me dry humping his side while he looks at Brie.
Yeah. So then we go to the best part with one of the guests. It's like, guys, why do I have a butter knife? I mean, where's my bread and butter? Where's my knife? I need an actual knife instead of a butter knife. And someone goes, you already used it. And she goes, I did not, in fact. So where was my bread and butter? Because this is a butter knife. So I remember being little and my mom put a VHS tape in, and it was all about etiquette. And she said, you're going to sit down and you're going to watch this. And that's when I learned as a child, utensils, the plate, that's how it started for me. Did nobody have VHS here? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, this is this backstory of like etiquette by VHS is amazing. And so someone's like, I feel like I've been to enough place settings that have been right. So when it's not, like, I'm just like, I'm not sure. I don't know. And she goes, I mean, like I said, I've got a butter knife. Like, where's my bread and butter? Like, where's the bread and butter? So she asks, so then
So Aisha hears this and she's just like trying not to embarrass the lady, right? So she just goes to the pantry and she tells Ellie, she's like, oh my God, she's holding a fish knife and being like, this is a butter knife. What do you do? And so back to the guests. And she's like, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but should I tell her? Oh, here she is. Oh, excuse me. I was looking for a knife and this is a butter knife. You fucking moron.
And Aisha just has no patience for this. She just goes, it's not. It's a fish knife. Because Aisha normally, if she likes you, she'd be like, oh, actually, this is a fish knife. It's actually designed to be used with fish. But she's like, it's not. It's a fish knife. Ew.
And she goes, oh, she's going to school me. Guys, the poor person's about to put on a show. Go ahead, school me. And she goes, yeah, actually, I've worked in service a very long time, and that's a fish knife. It's because fish is not supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be smooth, so it just cuts through. And then the guest goes, well, your caviar service sucked. Just saying. Oh my God, how would you know? Fucking know what you're talking about. And I know that you think that learning etiquette from a VHS tape as a kid is a flex, but it's not. It's the saddest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly. I mean, I'm just imagining her in that apartment with the VHS tape. I mean, look, this is someone who's like pretending that she's old money while she's talking about how her mom had to give her etiquette lessons via VHS. Because, old money, you're going to a dedicated class for like 3 years of your life. It's not just like Kermit the Frog teaches you etiquette, in 1983.
Yeah, and Aisha really, whatever they were doing off camera must have been worse because for Aisha to snap like that, I mean, you never do this in service. It was fun as a viewer to watch it, but anyone in service probably cringed at least a little bit.
I was cringing a little. I was like,
you don't do that. You have to be like, oh, actually, you know what? Here's a knife. Like, you want a regular knife? Here you go. And just either not say anything or let somebody else correct it when you only give that person a knife. And then somebody else says, oh, hey, well, do I get a regular knife too? Then you can be like, oh, actually, no, this is a fish knife. But sometimes people don't like using the fish knives. They like using regular knives. It's no problem. Try and do whatever you can to like make them look 100%. Stupid while it looks like you're trying to save them the embarrassment and let them look stupid. Because this was like declaring war on ladies like this or people like this, but in this case, a lady like this. And she took it as a declaration of war, because people like that are used to being wrong, but they have more money than you for some inexplicable reason. And they're used to kissing their ass. And she didn't. which is very rare, especially in fine dining. I was shocked, and I was also scared that I was about to get fired.
Yeah, I had the same reaction, which was like, this was fun to watch, but like, wow, she probably should not have like stiffened up her back so much against this guest. That's sort of just like not what you're supposed to do. But
as a viewer, it was like, yes,
exactly. And I think that Aisha knows that. I think Aisha knows like, this isn't really like real yachting. This is like TV. I'm gonna do this because this woman's a bitch, and she was totally obnoxious. And Aisha's like, these are people that like to claim that they're from the upper class, and it's like, well, where's the class part? I'm experienced enough and good enough at my job that I actually don't care if fighting back at these guys gets me in trouble because I've got to stand up for myself at some point.
Yeah.
I also do think it's funny sometimes on these shows. I think it's so funny that like the staff looks down on like the new money people also. Like the staff really appreciates like, oh, these people are old money. Like I respect that they're old money. I don't know why it's funny to me, because you would think that there would actually be something more relatable about someone who's new money. But it turns out everyone just doesn't.
Well, I think it's because
people.
just people's attitudes. It's just such a large percentage of the new money people act like such assholes, whereas old money people are just used to being rich, and that's just how they are. And you can't really hate people because that's how they are. But a lot of new money people are just trying to be something, and you can hate people for trying to be something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the new money people just act ridiculous, especially on this
it's just
show.
funny because
they all act like such idiots. Like, oh, mother of pearl spoons, of course. Beluga? Why, that's a caviar, isn't it? Quite a fancy one, if I do say so myself.
So Gail gets in bed with Nathan. They cuddle, and she's saying things like, please don't be such a dick. Please don't be a dick. Please. He's like, I won't hurt you. Good. Because one of my greatest insecurities is being hurt by a man. No. He's putting a pillow on properly onto a bed.
Well, you got this pillowcase on right. I did. Are you giving yourself majestic horns? I am. It's the small wins. It's the small wins.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Okay, most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions. But get this, the real number is closer to $300. That is literally thousands of dollars a year, half of which you've probably forgotten about. Thankfully, Rocket Money can find a bunch of subscriptions you've forgotten all about and then help you cancel the ones you don't want anymore. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Wondery. That's rocketmoney.com/Wondery. rocketmoney.com/Wondery.
So now back to the guest. This guest, Niles. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not being ignorant on purpose. I just forgot how to pronounce it. But let's just call her. Let's just say that guest, the knife guest. So she's like, I mean, everybody thought it was a butter knife, right? So did I, because it looks like a butter knife. And someone's like, well, I mean, it does look similar. She goes, and she's like, no, it's not. I mean, I'm okay with being wrong. But she was like, and then her face changed. I mean, the way her face changed. You guys, did you see the way her face changed? I mean, wow. Like, you're going to keep trying to come up with ways to not look stupid, but you're even looking worse now, Karen. Just relax.
God, I'm sorry for anyone who's ever had to go out with this wretch of a person. I mean, like, we've all had to do it. We've all been out with these people. We've seen them at bars where they get into a bar fight with their own stupidity, and then they spend the rest of the night being like, I just can't believe, did you see the way she looked at me? And then she was like, had stank face the entire rest of the time. Like, her eyes, like, you can see, like, she was just being mean. She was being judgy. You could just see it. And you're like, okay, it's over. You got into your fight. Can we move on, please?
Yeah, and one of the guests is like, you need to calm the fuck down, lady. And she's like, I know, I need to calm down. I do, I need to. So then Aisha shows up and it's like, you've got grilled nails and truffle pimento. Enjoy that. I hope that tomahawk steak gets as ate up as Neil suggested. All right, enjoy. Would you like a straw to eat your steak with, stupid? No?
So then Sandy goes up to the guests and she's like, "Hey everyone, so how was dinner? Did everyone get the proper knives and everything?" And this guy Mike is like, "Yeah, it was really good." And then she's like, So then Naisla is it Naisla? Do we think it's Naisla or Nisla? Nila? Whatever.
It's embarrassing that we don't know. So problematic we don't know, but I don't even know how to look it up, honestly. Well, yes, I do with Google. Let's see if it Googles.
I feel like what's her name. Well, anyway, this idiot, why don't we call her that? So she does the thing where she now is going to be really nice to Captain Sandy. So that way someone can vouch for her that she's like a really nice person. And that way she's like that way, if there's like an issue and Aisha complains, Sandy will be like, "No, but she was really nice." So she's like, I got to point out the toe shoes, Sandy. Like, I've got to see the shoe collection. That's like amazing, Sandy.
And Sandy's like, "Yeah, it's called being a lesbian, weirdo." Okay, so then I looked up the name to see how to pronounce it, and it brought up this woman's Instagram immediately. So... But I guess that's a good thing about having a unique name. You always get the first Insta. Hey. So she's got 11.8 thousand followers. And this is her bio. Studies fish and butter knives after Bravo / newly certified etiquette coach / hospitality specialist, certified in tea etiquette / author / lover of fish.
I think she's trying to own her own stupidity on the show, which I can't be mad at.
But girl, she's her pinned post is her opening her certificate in her kitchen, I guess, for being an etiquette coach. It feels good to have the certification I've been working on. Being able to consult hotels, restaurants, country clubs, etc. is not the only side of the business I'm intrigued by. It's the patron side I love most. Etiquette doesn't have to be stuck up or boring. I believe it's fun and simple. Etiquette is a universal language, in all caps, ... It's an ellipses and a period. And I'm here for it.
Unlike punctuation, which is maybe not as universal. I have to.
One of our friends. I'm so sorry, Ben. One of our friends says, I can't help but feel like this is a shady response. "You've worked on this for several months. So excited you're certified." Hands in the air. I like when people are like, "You've been working on this for about 5 minutes. Good for you."
I have to give her credit because she got off this boat and then probably realized very quickly she's going to look like a total asshole. So in anticipation of this episode airing, she fully put herself into an etiquette school. So that way, when people like us come on here and be like, "What a fucking idiot," she's like, "No, I have a certificate now. It's not just a VHS anymore."
I think Captain Sandy's speech that she gives later on whipped these people right into shape. And I think probably the husbands, who were really nice, and one of the ladies I think was decent, but
yeah,
I think someone was like, why would the captain give us a speech like that? What's going on? And was probably like, "Oh, we're tipping $90 million and we're going to be on our best behavior."
Yeah.
Because the change was crazy.
Yeah, there definitely was a reaction. Yeah, but it was really just two people who were obnoxious. It was just Mahisha and Naisla. And so everyone else was fine. So she's kissing Sandy's ass, everything. And then Mahisha's like saying how she wants to go upstairs to a dance party. So Aisha tells Ellie to stay by the bar. And then Mahisha's like, "Oh, I just really want vodka all night long because I'm fabulous and I live a fabulous lifestyle. Cast me, Bravo, in your next Real Housewives."
And then someone's like, "Oh my God, like here we are. We came upstairs and now we don't have service. I mean, who's up here? Nobody. When we need them. Like, who's here?" So Ellie comes up and she's like, "What can I get you?" And Mahisha orders a vodka and she goes, "Oh, and make it a double. Might as well triple it since we'll be up here alone."
And Ellie's like,
"What the fuck is wrong with you? You moved upstairs, immediately bitched that there wasn't someone there, even though they were staffed at the bar waiting for you. And then the second she comes, you guilt her for not being there. And what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You are terrible people."
And Ellie goes,
"Well, we check on you every 15 minutes. Nothing has changed. Don't cost me. I can kill Bambi.
And I'm not afraid to do it."
And listen, I've tried before, and I will hit one day. So they're like, "Oh my God, did she literally just go like this on her way down?" And yes, she did, because that is the second staff member that has sassed you. Which, I have to say, as much as I hate these people, I'm also kind of horrified that they're getting sassed. I'm sorry. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion, but I was like, So then they're noticing it, obviously. So then Ellie tells Aisha, she's like, "They're getting sassy up there. Joe, please go charm the ladies." And Aisha goes, "Yeah, they're kind of bitches."
So then Mahisha's upstairs being like, "Drinks, please. Drinks, please." So, by the way, I will say, sort of to back up your point about how it's cringy, these women are being totally obnoxious, especially Mahisha. I mean, Nessa had that really bad scene, but Mahisha's being really obnoxious, and the staff is really stiffening up against them. But the truth is that we've seen guys act like this so many times on Below Deck. Guests who are like, "I need my drink. I need my drink. Where's the drink? This is the wrong knife." And no one sasses them. So I am now all of a sudden feeling angry about this.
I feel like some
ingrained
guests
misogyny.
we're used to seeing the guests be assholes. It's Below Deck. So we've seen it a million times. We've seen the guests be assholes, but we have not seen them get sassed a lot. It's very, very rare that they get sassed. And when they do, it's a huge deal. I mean, Kate and the penis blanket is like a famous example. It's very rare to sass back a guest. And I think it shows, like, when Aisha does it, then of course Ellie does it. Yeah. Because it's like opened the door to it. Yeah. And I hate standing up for these guests. And I'm not going to call it, whatever. I'm not going to label it with a certain kind of like racism or misogyny or anything else, but I'm going to say everyone, like, it happens all the time. Like, why now is it such a big deal? And I feel just like, as someone who's worked in service, you can't do that. You just can't do this. You just need to make these idiots look like idiots. They're making themselves look stupid enough on national TV. You need to do the old, like, Southern, like, "Oh, so you were downstairs, but now you're upstairs and you need me to be here within 5 seconds. Great. I can do that. I can do that."
Yeah. I agree. I feel like, in terms of service, you need to, like, you don't fight that battle. You talk to Captain Sandy, which is what they ultimately do. But as a viewer, like you said, it was great to watch, but like, it felt kind of wrong at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, customers are going to be assholes, especially nouveau riche customers. So anyway, then Sandy is like, "How's it going out there?" And Ellie says, "They're mean girls." And Aisha says, "Well, one of the ladies had a fish knife." And I was like, "I really wanted it," and said she wanted a knife for a fish, but you've given me a butter knife. And I was like, "That's a fish knife." And then Captain Sandy goes, "Oh, you know what? And next time they do that," I thought she was going to say, "Just give them a knife and just pretend that they were smart." I really thought she was going to say that, because Captain Sandy is a stickler about service stuff. But she goes, "Next time they do that, say, 'See the point on the knife? See, this one's a fish knife and the round one is a bread knife.' Then clink them together in front of their face and say, 'Stupid, you're stupid.' Clink, 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 dummy."
So now, everyone goes to bed, except for the primary. The primary is still sitting on the sofa with her husband. And so basically he's like, "Hey,
she's going to try it."
Of course. She's like,
"You know what? I haven't been enough of an asshole today. I'm going to pull another standard asshole move on Below Deck." It's like she's watched every episode and she's just going to be the biggest villain she possibly can today.
Exactly. So so now she's also now commissioned her husband to do this, to do her bidding in this case. So he's like, "Hey, Aisha, let me ask you a question. So she gets hungry at night sometimes." "Great. Well, the chef has prepared some sandwiches. You're lucky you weren't here on episode 1. Am I right? Anyone? High five. No one's here. Okay, awkward." He's like, and she goes like, "I don't eat sandwiches though." "Oh, yeah, my wife's bougie, and I don't think I've seen her eat a sandwich in 20 years. That's not eating sandwiches. It doesn't make you bougie to not eat a sandwich. I hate to break news to everyone. A sandwich is not the same as having like a Twinkie. Okay, a sandwich is a sandwich
was invented by
your
an
class.
Yeah, sandwiches were invented by an earl, so
Thank
get
you.
over it. But also the fact that the husband was like, "Great sandwiches," and she goes, "I don't eat sandwiches." He's like, "Oh yeah, my wife doesn't eat sandwiches." It made it sound like it's bullshit, and she does eat sandwiches. But I love that she thinks that makes her super fancy. So he's like, "Okay, well, yeah, she doesn't eat that." And she goes, "Okay, well, the chef's in bed, so we've got nuts and dried fruit." And she goes, "Really?" And he's like, "Okay, well, berries." She says something like berries, and she goes, "Sure." So she goes, "I can't even with this. I'm going to bed." "Oh, I'm so sorry." Well, they could have cracked open another can of ass eggs. You know?
And then he's like, "But you just ordered berries, though." And she goes, "Can you just eat the berries instead?" So she goes downstairs, and Aisha gives him the berries, and so Mahisha's going down the stairs. And the other thing is, Ronnie, Aisha, Ellie, you don't have to fight these fights. You don't have to snap back at the guests. Let the Lord do it for you. Okay.
Amen. Let go and let God, honey.
Because Mahisha then just falls right down that staircase. And it was great. And it was on camera. And she was mortified.
Yep. I died. I mean, I'm just waiting for everybody to. I'm just giving a pause for everybody to just relish the moment because it really was fucking funny. So then Joe's like, "Aisha, tomorrow we're going to a specific island, aren't we? Should I do a bit of research and print it out and, give some facts?" And she's like, "Well, if they got facts from you, they'd absolutely cream themselves."
I feel like I've been managing to scratch by all season with 3 stews, but when we're really pushed, this is when the cracks start to show, and I just want to do what I can to help my stews get through. I mean, I'm Aisha. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Creaming, that is. Creaming everywhere.
I love that she invoked that movie, which is amazing. So good.
Well,
there's so many different Aishas and different timelines. There's a movie star version of Aisha. There's a maid version of Aisha. I'm even a giraffe in another life. But let me tell you something. Every single one of them figured out how poo-poo worked by sticking their thumbs up their bums. Even the giraffe. And trust me, that was painful.
So now second day of charter, people are waking up and everything, and we're starting to do some breakfast service and stuff. People are taking photos. Mahisha wants more berries because she didn't have any last night. Aisha tells them that they're going on an excursion to the temple of Aphia. So they all seem to be excited about that. And then Sandy checks in with Aisha, and she's like, "Hey, how are they this morning?" And she's like, "Oh, they're fine. I mean, they're the same. I ran into Mahisha this morning, and she was like, 'I'm hungry.' I was like, 'Okay, so I'll stop bringing breakfast up.' And she's like, 'Oh, okay. Don't worry.'"
See, this is another thing I didn't notice. I didn't notice her being rude about breakfast. She just said, "Can we eat now?" I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I didn't notice
these
that
people
either.
have just rubbed them the wrong way, and they have not had any sleep, and they're just fucking over it, I guess. At
Yes.
this point. It's like, fuck these people. But of course, Sandy is that kind of person who's like, "Guess what? I've been working on a speech all night. Can I give it? Leave it with me. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to do hugs, but I've already done that one. I already did wind. I'm considering going with naps." So let's see.
Meanwhile, Ian is just puttering around because he's just basically not even on the show anymore. And Gail's like,
Well, I guess that Ian's not the best communicator, and so Nathan, Joe, and I whenever something needs to be done, we just get it done, and maybe in some way Ian's management genius. He structured this in a way that the team is just self-sufficient, and he doesn't even have to do that much work. I'm like, and that's how he's a bosun. Not because he's so good at it, but because he's so inept that the team just has to do it, and then it makes him look good, and he just gets hired on job after job after job.
Yeah. So then we go to the bar where Sandy is with the guests. And one of the husbands is like, "Hey, I'll tell you, this staff that you have, they are just so good. I mean, they are just so staffy-like, just really good at staff stuff." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, they're pros. I always say this. If you beat a character down, you're going to kill their spirit. And who needs a bunch of dead maids on a boat? You know what I mean? But if you're gracious and you're thankful, you're going to build them up.
And then they're going to want to do more for you. Then they're going to want to start sleeping with their chef boyfriend in their other room and in their own room. And when you don't give them their way, they're going to go rifle through the bag of your enemies and get photographic evidence to ruin their careers. God, that was fun. What were we talking about?
You know what's funny? I had a client that spent $1 million on a charter, which is funny because my friend Norma once went on a date and a guy spent, I think, about 35 cents on the dinner. I don't know. I guess we just live in different worlds.
Yeah. Her date said, God, I would give 1 million pleases to not be on this date. And I said, gosh, if a please was worth $1. Am I right?
God, I think his name was, I don't remember his name, but I seem to remember that when Norma went on that date to Domino's Pizza, he said, you know, you're supposed to avoid the Noid. And you're not avoiding me right now. So it was a real, wasn't love.
So yeah, he spent $1 million. He spent $1 million on a charter, and they were just so rude to my crew. And I brought Norma out, and I said, if you want to be rude to someone, be rude to Norma. Okay, let's just all say something rude to Norma. So we got in a big circle. And we covered her face in paper towels, and we just said rude things to her. It really was so fun. And then after that, I pulled the primary in and I said, listen, I'm going to cancel your charter tomorrow if you ever treat my staff like I just forced you to treat Norma again. Do you understand me, motherfucker?
And then afterwards, one of them actually took Norma out on a date. Well, he had a date with another woman. He just asked Norma for a ride. And then she got to hang out in the Topgolf parking lot until he was done.
Let me tell you, they turned it around just like that. Because I called the owner, and the owner said, I don't need the money. Okay? By the way, has anybody made Norma walk the plank again? Could you please live stream it so I could watch it here from my helicopter? And they said, sure. So then Nilsa is hearing this conversation, and she knows that they're being schooled and lectured. And she goes, oh, my God, I'm like so over this conversation. I'm out of here. And she leaves.
She picks up on it very quickly. Anyway, that concludes my speech. That has nothing to do with anything that's happening with this present charter, just a fun story that I coincidentally brought up right now. Have a great day, everyone. And if anyone wants to see more of my shoes, they're upstairs.
Hope that was subtle enough for you guys. You know, I just don't want anybody to be mean because, you know, meanness is like Nielsen's on a chalkboard. Okay, well, have a good one.
Wow, it feels sort of tense in here. You could cut it with a fish knife, which is a real thing. Points. It has a point.
Okay, so then it's excursion time, and Joe is, really excited that he gets to be a pro and give an excursion, and he's, waving around pages and pages of Xerox paper. This is what everybody wants from a tour guide.
Yeah. This really should have been Aisha to do because she loves old things in history. So they're going to this fertility temple. Ellie is horny as fuck, and she's really feeling it. And the guests, meanwhile, all they want to do is just take selfies by the temple. They don't care at all about anything. They don't care about the history. They don't care about seeing anything about it. They just want it as a backdrop. And Joe's like, oh, well, I guess the history is not as appreciated as I thought it would have been, but I'm having a good time. Do I have... Ooh, I just had a John O trill. You know what? You're around someone for so long, you sort of pick up their habits.
Yeah, so he doesn't get to use his newfound knowledge of printing things out from the internet. So he's sad, but yeah, the ladies are just like posing and getting good pictures. And then back on the boat, Captain Sandy gets a call from Leah that their dog has died, which is super sad. And also, it's the second time on Bravo this week that this has happened. And I need you guys to stop torturing me as my little angel is behind me. I don't want to think about this stuff when I watch TV. My God, only kill people on TV, please.
So Sandy's just like really sad, and she talks about the dog and how the dog was in her life and etc. And actually, it's really sad because she says it reminds her of the people in her life who have died while she was at sea. Like both her parents died, and she was at sea, and so that's like devastating. That's really, really sad. So Aisha consoles her and hugs her, and it's really lovely. And meanwhile, the people out at the temple, they start heading back to the boat. Ellie and Joe take a photo together where Ellie like kisses Joe on the cheek, and everyone's like, ooh, which becomes a tiny plot point later on.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, while we're talking about fertility, what about you two lovebirds? And so Ellie plays it up by kissing him on the cheek. Dun, dun, dun. So then Jono is doing an Asian feast. He's like, because I spent a week in Ho Chi Minh City at this Asian master of chef's farm. I was mostly there to fix the ceiling because, I'm an architect, but it was incredible. We learned 5 or 6 dishes in one day. So that's basically that's pro level, right? Like, can we not have someone who learns 6 dishes in one day try to whip that out right now? Please. I paid, well, not a lot of money. It's these guests, but I've got a discount, but I'm still on a yacht.
So I learned so much when I went to Vietnam. So here are some Chinese dishes instead. I'm going to do scallion pancakes, garlic, ginger, Peking ducks, and, because these guests like fancy shit, and like nothing says rich motherfucker like some duck for lunch, which I thought for sure they were going to be like, ew, duck, who eats duck? But spoiler alert, they were actually fine with it because they come back on the boat and they're friendly. They're like, oh, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for this napkin, Aisha. Thank you. I would love a cocktail. Thank you so much. And whatever type of knife you plan to serve with dinner tonight, we are totally down with it.
Yeah, they have obviously had something has happened between last night and today that has changed everybody because they are really laying it on thick today. And so, which is nice because you know what? A lot of people could double down and they didn't. Yeah. I was actually shocked by this. So it was nice to see on Below Deck. So then now they're talking about the night out and Joe and Nathan are talking about it. And Joe's like, I've got myself in a kerfuffle because Ellie was very generous with me today. And then he shows Nathan and Gail the picture and they're joking around about it, how she's kissing his neck. Sorry, that was me. Some of us have single necks. So...
Well, it's a real big issue if it's not just a kerfuffle, but it's a kerpuffle, So then
it's a gay kerfluffle. It's an even gayer kerfluffle, a kerpuffle.
So then everyone sits down, the guests sit down to have their duck and everything. And then Joe is talking to Nathan and Gail. They're all in the crew mess. And Joe's doing that annoying thing where he thinks anyone really cares about like his dilemmas about who he's going to hook up with. He's like, oh, what the fuck do I do? I don't want any of them. I don't know what I'm going to do. And Nathan's like, Joe, I'm sick of hearing about this. Nathan's like,
and everybody else in the fucking audience. Joe is so pathetic. He's one of those people who goes around and really flirts hard with everybody and tries to get them to like him. And then when they do, he's like, ooh, gross. They like me. I'm just
like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like, I don't want anything, but then I have alcohol and then I turn into a demon. It's like, oh yeah, sure. It's just the alcohol's fault. So that means either then don't drink alcohol or consider your choices. Like, I'm sorry. Like it's just classic fuckboy attitude.
Yeah, it's crippling insecurity. And also, you're going to need something to rely on other than hotness. Like, please learn something because you're like pathetic to watch. Like, seriously, do you have anything going on? What do you know one thing about this guy except he likes his grandpa?
No, I know nothing. So then Bree walks into the crew mess and it gets like really awkward and silent. And she's just there staring.
And he's like, where's my t-shirt? And she's like,
go look in Nathan's cabinet, you monkey.
Because she's heard him and she's annoyed. And so Gail's like, look at you just playing with these women. And she's like,
I feel like they were talking about me. And then all of a sudden it went quiet. And that hurts me. I don't want to feel as if you were talking about me. So obviously I'm going to be upset about it.
So, then Aisha radios and she just tells Jono, guess what? They really like your duck. He's like, yes, that's right. Crispy skin duck. All I had to do was tell Brie, can you handle this duck? And she ironed it right away. Crispy skin.
So Joe checks in on Brie and she's like,
as if you care how I am.
He's like, I care, Brie. I actually do. In all honesty, I do care.
So then Ellie.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Ellie then is in her room and she's speaking to Gail and she's talking about how she had such a nice time with Joe on the excursion and everything. And I really like him. I think da-da-da-da. She's basically like, she's into Joe. And Gail has just listened to Joe say, like, he's actually not that into Ellie. He doesn't really want to have anything. And she's heard all this, but she's sort of letting Ellie just, natter on and get, like, excited about this. And Gail says,
well, I don't know where my ethics lie because I'm part of the deck crew. Am I supposed to be loyal to the deck crew? Because, like, they are my people. But, like, Ellie's kind of, like, falling for Joe, and Joe's kind of stringing her along, so I don't want Ellie to get hurt.
I think you tell Ellie, because as much as you say like, oh, I'm in the deck crew, I'm one of them, and I'm gonna be part of it. Like, the truth is, what we've always seen time and time again is that the Deckies, it's always a boys' club. And like they may like pretend to let you in, but they don't let you in, and they would not extend the same consideration towards Gale that Gale is considering towards them. So I say I don't think there's any loyalty that they have towards her, truly, as evidenced by last week's episode when Joe was a snot to her. So I say you tell Ellie and like save her from getting embarrassed on national TV.
Or to put it more succinctly, sisters before misters. Okay. Also, you don't have to go in there and be like, this is what he's saying about you, and he's not really into. You don't have to like totally tattletale. You could just be like, that guy's a douchebag, and he's clearly leading you both on. So, yeah, I mean, he's not. He's obviously using you. Something to where maybe you're not like betraying, but you're also like, girl, like. Come and on. Also, like, because Ellie is, and I don't think Ellie wants a relationship with this guy or anything, but I mean, I just will never get the vision of the end of this episode with Ellie and her curling iron just sitting there so happy, like curling her hair for her date, and then just pausing with the curling iron in her hand and then being crushed.
Yeah, and I think that like, I forgot what I was going to say, but either way, Ellie, like, I don't know, something about probably getting her heart broken, fuck boy, yada yada. You just fill in the blank of what I was going to say, and that's probably what it was going to be.
Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with that. I agree with it as usual. I'm proud of you for saying it.
Yeah, no, I think that like Gail should have said something. Like, I'm sad for Ellie that after she heard the song he was singing on the piano, which I thought was actually just like really. It's just like, yeah, sure, it was like silliness, yada yada yada. But I think it also highlighted for her that like. He's not taking any of this seriously, and he's just thinking about his conquest, and he's just horny. And I'm sort of bummed that she's now not only still pursuing him, but she's like being the active pursuer. I just don't like that for her.
Yeah, I don't like it either, because it's not like she's expecting something more or needs him to need something more. I think she's fine with it being casual, but he's like blatantly disrespecting you and mocking you in front of the whole crew, and then for you to just be like, oh, still like him. Now, on the other hand, I have been in a room many times with the last piece of pizza, and I know what that's like when you're like, well, would I rather be eating, something better? Yes, but it's the last slice of pizza. Like, what are you?
It's the last slice of pizza.
Yeah, is the last slice of pizza. Is a pizza nice to me? No. Does it respect me? No. It's done nothing but cause me harm over the course of my life. But I'm still going to eat it. It's the last piece.
So now it's time to dock. So we're docking, and let's see how Ian's going to fuck up. He's like, all right, what we will do is cross our lines first, and then we'll do straight backs. And Gail's like, Ian, that's not right. Sorry, I'm empowered because I drove the Tinder. Heaving lines should be on the straight back, right? Not on the cross lines. And he's like, okay. And so they dock smoothly because of Gale. Because once again, Ian fucked up, and he's probably going to get praise for getting his shit together when it was just Gale who piped up, and piped out, whatever.
Yeah. And she's like, I know what I'm talking about. I just need to trust myself. And someone's like, the tender needs drive. No, I could never.
It's my biggest insecurity.
Okay, so now it's the end. They're saying goodbye to these monsters, but then it turns out they're not mean at all. Mahish's like, hey guys, this was great. Thank you, chef. You're so amazing. You have great taste. You had a mother of pearl spoon. Your caviar was delicious. Loved the fish knife. Okay. And my lovebirds can't wait to see what happens later. You know who you are. Okay. To the supporting crew, you guys were just absolutely amazing. So we had no issues. Zero issues.
Who are these people? Will be on the same charter? I mean, I'll take it for sure, but this is confusing.
So
those ladies aren't so bad in the end.
That's because you gave them all our clothing and they left with an extra wardrobe.
Wait a minute, is that lady walking away with my silver shoes?
So then Joe's upset. He's upset because he's like, what the fuck just went on there? Why did I get called out? You know who you are. No, I don't. So
then how do you know it was you?
So Aisha basically tells everyone, like, she gathers the stews and she's like, so I know this was a shit shot, guest-wise, but nothing went wrong in the laundry. Both of you were there doing stuff, but it's like, you're still having to train on the job, yada, yada, yada. It worked. The point is, it worked. Now let's all hold hands and know that everything is solved.
So basically, we've just proven that Ellie is a liar with the pants on fire. All right, let's keep it going. So Ellie's like, Isha, I'm going to invite Joe on a little date. What do you think of this? And she's like, where's Joe? So then Ellie is like, I'm over this stagnant energy. I would rather get out of comfort zone and make this first step and see if there's something actually between us or not.
So she goes...
I'm going to wear my astronaut outfit.
So Ellie goes up to Joe and she goes,
Joe, I have a question for you. How do you feel about Bambi? And if someone were to kill Bambi, would you like that person? Would you understand where they're coming from?
Should I use shotgun or chainsaw? It's been going through my mind a lot. I'm not going to...
It's like, go ahead. What's the question?
So I want to invite you on a little date tonight. How you feel about that?
Oh, shit. Just me and you? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. He gives her a high five and everything. She's like,
good, it'll be a fun time. It'll be fun. It'll be so much fun, I promise.
So Ellie feels like she herself has just had a little win, and she goes bounding off downstairs full of joy and glee.
So Gail is like, Joe, I heard her invite you for a date. Did you say yes? And he's like, obviously. She's like, oh, that's a bad idea, Joe. He's like, listen, I've never been asked for a date before from a bird. I was in shock. Hey, Nathan, I really like her. She's obviously very attractive. I'm not asking for either of them, huh? I'm just going with Ellie, and I'm just going to listen.
And Nathan's like,
no. He goes, I'm not. I thought he was saying I like her, but he was saying he likes Bree. I think he was saying I really like Bree. But Ellie's very.
Listen. He may have said go listen. I mean, like, I'm gonna say, listen. I don't want to go on this date. And so,
because he's saying he doesn't want to be with either one of them. Okay,
he's basically he's starting to like concoct some sort of logic to back out of this date. And Nathan is like, no, bro, you already said yes. And he's like, no, listen. He's like, I already said yes, but I don't want to do it. And I said yes, but I've had second thoughts. I'm so sorry, but I thought about it. I actually don't want to do it. And Nathan's like, yeah, but was she really happy that she said yes? It's only an hour out of your day, which is true. It's like, it's just an hour. Just go on the date.
And he's saying Joe's afraid to go on the date, and Joe's like, yeah, because I'm genuinely petrified of her. And Nathan's teasing him, and he's like, it's because he loves her. So they're kind of joking about it, but this is also the below deck standard where they force two young people to go on a date every season.
That's true too.
And I think he's like, I don't want to do that just for the cameras. Like, I don't want to. And maybe he senses that now online, everybody's going to be like, you're a couple. And if you're not still with her, you must have done something wrong. You're the worst. Maybe he's trying to avoid that. But you can't say yes and then embarrass somebody on national TV, especially after you've been coming on to them literally every day for weeks. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So Gail predicts that Ellie is going to burn the whole boat down, which I think is correct. So now it's time. They have the tip meeting and everything. All right, everyone. Okay. Everyone get involved. Okay, guess what? First of all, question. Who are the lovebirds? Okay, we can eliminate Norma, because I don't think that phrase has ever been used with her. No offense, Norma. Okay, who is it? And then they're joking and everything, and then they're like, oh, it's, Joe. And Nathan's like, it's me and Joe. So, okay, you guys don't want to fess up. Okay, here's the tip. It's 20,000 American dollars. Great work, everyone. And great work to Ian. You did a great job. Seems like you finally have the great leadership and have all the tools to lead this boat to glory. So good job to Ian and to no one else.
This was incredible because it's a short charter. So they got basically a full charter good tip. Because that's considered a good tip on a full charter, and they got that on the half. So those guests really tried, but I don't think the internet's going to have it.
No.
I don't think they fucked up enough. The internet's like, fuck you guys. You're screwed.
So now is where Ellie is on the bed with a curling iron, and she's so excited. She's getting ready for her date. And Joe comes in and she's like, "Are you excited? I'm so excited to go. I'm like ready. Let's do it." And Nathan's like, "I'm shitting myself. She's going to kill him." And he goes, "Let's talk. To be honest, I feel a lot of pressure. I don't want a date." Dun, dun, dun.
And she's just
standing
looking
there
at
with
him.
her curling iron like,
Bambi is about to choke on some very delicious curl.
Yeah. What a dick. So we'll see. She'll get her revenge, and I hope she does. We'll have to wait till next week, though, to see how that all pans out. But in the meantime, everyone, thanks so much for listening and for being here. And we will catch you on the next episode. Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Across America, BP supports more than 300,000 jobs to keep our energy flowing. Jobs like updating turbines at one of our Indiana wind farms and producing more oil and gas with fewer operational emissions in the Gulf of Mexico. It's and, not or. See what doing both means for energy nationwide at bp.com/investing in America.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. We know the 6 wives of Henry VIII as pawns in his hunt for a son, but their lives were so much more than just being the king's wives. I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin. And we're the hosts of Wondery's podcast, Even the Royals. In each episode, we'll pull back the curtain on royal families past and present from all over the world to show you the darker side of what it means to be royalty.
We rarely see Henry VIII's wives in their own light, as women who used the tools available to them to hold on to power. Some women won the game, others lost, but they were all unexpected agents in their own stories.
Being a part of a royal family might seem enticing, but more often than not, it comes at the expense of everything else, like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head. Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Go deeper and get more to the story with Wondery's top history podcasts, including American Scandal, Legacy, and Black History for Real.